Well, not the way I wanted to spend my night, watching it rain all night, then come over and race Think of Galaxies. You know, that filly, she's usually a handful in the post parade, and tonight she wasn't. You know, we come off the gate on a half-mile track. I know in the back of my mind, if she's not tugging me out of there, like if you go back and watch her first race, she comes screaming off the car. Now, the only time she wasn't hot was the first time she won into the 2-hole. We had wore a snake cord on her, and then we wore it on her in Dayton. She was flat, and tonight she was flat. I watched her close after the race when Gloria brought her back and bathed her off, and as she's washing her harness up. I'm just sitting there watching her. She's eating hay, like she did her job, right? No blowing. She doesn't seem there was no discomfort of any kind found. Certainly wasn't a lameness issue. So I'm a little perplexed, to be honest. Now, it could be a number of things. She could be a little tired. But it's always weird because sometimes these horses, you won't see them just kind of fall off a bit. They'll just get flat for a start, flat for another start, and then just poof, they're gone. They need a rest. Does she need a rest? I'm going to tell you, watching her race tonight, remembering how we raced in Dayton. Now, again, we're 2 weeks in between, but there just didn't seem that sense of urgency in her. That fire that was in her before. When we got her, she was like a handful. She was a terrorist. And tonight, she was just a kitten on the front. You would never have to pull the earplugs coming to past the half with her before. And as I say this, it's not like we raced her 35 times, and I know this filly good. We did race her a good 8 or 10, and she's been fantastic for almost all of them. And, the start with Ryan when he shut her air off, and, with the recall. The start where, I had gassed her hard to the front, 25-4 at the Meadows, and she was 4th or 5th. Then the start in Dayton and the start today. But the start today is the most frustrating because I can't really put my finger on it. I warmed her up. No one else. I did. I post-paraded her. I raced her. I know what I felt, and I could tell coming off the car, but I'm thinking to myself, I really wouldn't mind following Aaron. So I'm going to let her float over the front. If he comes early, or Ronnie, or Tyler, I'm going to cut them loose and follow them. But no one come. And then I'm watching it as we come out of the turn. I'm watching the TV. I could see someone start out. I know it's Aaron. So I just chirped her, and she felt like she was looking for a little tussle. But as we got through that turn into the backstretch, she just fizzled out. I kicked the earplugs. Again, you'd never have to kick them there on her. She'd be a handful all the way down the backstretch. She just isn't the same filly mare tonight, and looking back on Dayton, that felt eerily similar. Not the same horse. So what's going on with her? Obviously, it's a 15th race. It's 12:30 now, so we're not going to have a vet here to scope her at midnight. So I'll ask Mike if maybe he'll come in the morning and scope her. But if she bled, there'd be a laboring in her breathing. There's none, right? She was as cool as a cucumber when I just left a minute ago. Seemed fine, eating hay, got her head out. So what went on with this filly tonight? It's a mare. Anyway, we'll get to the bottom of it. She can't hide it from us. We will scope her. We will draw her blood Monday morning and get a real good look at what it says. And if there's nothing found, we'll just kick her out in the field for 3 or 4 weeks. There's no problem there. No problem doing that at all. She certainly owes us nothing. So it wasn't lameness, wasn't soreness. It certainly doesn't look like sickness or bleeding to me, but without having any concrete evidence in front of me, I can't really convey that to you with the utmost certainty. So we'll get to the bottom of whatever just took place with our girl Think of Galaxies. We started off the night. I thought greatest ending race, great. I just turned it on and started going by the 5/8. I'm like, where's this horse at? And then as they go under the wire, I see him screaming. I could tell it was him coming out of the turn. I'm like, well, they really just going for a training mile with this guy tonight. Which, whatever, I don't care. But he got home great. I was surprised when they went under the wire. He was 16-1. But current form, I guess, being what it is, coming off a scratch sick, I guess that's what you get. But he raced great, got home good. He had to come 26 and piece, 27, a mile and 51-ish. No, 51 and 151 for sure. But did it the right way. Got home really good, so I was happy. Really, really happy with him. Atlas Hanover, it's tough for Lauren, right? Lauren's she's a very small girl, and she knows, I tried to tell her with Atlas, he's not going to get you in trouble, but she knows he can get a little grabby sometimes. And I think from the 9 hole, she just wanted to stay out of harm's way. Maybe she thought she'd quarter pull him, and that girl on the front would cut her loose. It just didn't end up. It ended up being a nightmarish trip for her, but that happens. It's not anybody's fault. The horse hung on for third and raced okay, but not what I would say would be his trip, let's say. That was Atlas, and then we raced Alibaba in Hawthorne. Sickness a couple of times, probably a little bit sick tonight. Not really impressed with Alibaba, to be honest. She looked like she had some steam to her when we trained her down. She looked good. Then we got her to the track. She won that start at Grand River. She looked okay here. Maybe her second or third. She's shown sparks of being okay, but ultimately when push comes to shove, it just one excuse after another with her. And that's, I'm not saying from Mr. Eaton, I'm saying the mare, the filly herself, always finds a way to not race. Pretty light schedule in 2023 and just hasn't put out. And quite frankly, I'm not really that interested in keeping her over as a 3-year-old, to be clear. I mean, I'll go to bat for horses that pull their weight or want the work or have had issues or had hurdles they had to get over. This filly hasn't had any. None that I know of. No real lameness or soreness issues. Just always something. It's just one of those always something horses. And I think it'll just be somebody else's always something horse for 2023. I'm sure I'm going to have some of my partners message me and say, Anthony, she's just got to mature and grow up. Well, you know what, guys? We can't make excuses for all of them. And she hasn't done enough for me to even start to make an excuse for her. I want to see a horse. Show me that one start where she looked great. Grand River, okay, it was 2-3. Right? She didn't want to follow speed tonight. And you can be sure Jimmy Eaton is a sharp cookie. He's no dummy. I guarantee you she was ready to rock tonight. Trained up, made sure she was healthy, made sure she was good, in good form, sound, and ready to go. Not, very sharp guy. And for her to go out and put on that performance, I just looked at Amy, she went under the wire. I said, I don't think we're going to keep this one. I don't think so. Now, I'll talk to Jim. Maybe it was something I missed. And of course, there could have been. I'm nowhere near the horse. But push comes to shove, I think he won't pull any punches either. He'll give me a straight goods. Yeah, she's okay, or yeah, she's not. He did warn me when we bought those class includeds that they weren't the nicest breed of horse. They didn't show a lot of depth, I think is paraphrasing what he said, and I think he was kind of bang on, right? Thank God we didn't go into that room again with some more of the class included. So we got the right breed out there for next year, I think, anyway. So Alibaba, unless Jim really wants to lobby for her to stay, she's probably just going to go. Renegade Gypsy, I have to go back and watch. How the hell did he get away 10th? I'm trying to watch the start of the race, and I was preoccupied. I think we had a movie on, and Addie was being put to bed, and I had the race on my iPad, and I look up, and I'm hearing them start the race, and I just assume Gypsy's going to blast out and be up close. I hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He gets to like the 7th horse. I'm like, I know there's 10. I can see a horse in 10th, so nobody made a break. Surely to God he didn't get away 10th. How's that? 9th, 10th, Renegade Gypsy. I'm like, so I have to go back and watch the race, and maybe he missed the gate, maybe something happened at the gate, but I don't really know how you get away 10th with Renegade Gypsy, but he did. Anyway, he found a way to, and he did finish up strong to be second, but more along the same storyline of, I find myself saying that a lot lately, along the same lines as it's been for him in 2023. Just keep waiting for the Renegade Gypsy from the end of 2022 to spark up. I told myself in July and August, maybe like White Tiger does, he just races better in the fall when the allergies are less. Maybe he'll come on now. But again, tonight, that's the bottom class. 13.5's got to be getting down there pretty low. And just went out, loafed around. If there nothing happened at the gate and he just got away 10th on his own accord, then shame on him. But not a super impressive. To be truthful, the whole week wasn't super impressive, was it? I thought I can probably tell you the horses that impressed me all week. I know in recent memory, Swinging Senorita was great. The other filly, Smoking Hot Irish Girl, was good. I thought that Delicious Stone DK raced well. And obviously Tiger raced great on Monday. But as I think closer, I can list a number of horses I thought were rather ordinary this week. We had a good day. You know, Coop raced good. She raced out of her skin. It just felt like there was an oddly high amount of mediocrity in the barn tonight. Maybe just with the weather and the rain and everything, maybe the mares weren't just as good. The Galaxy thing is, as I said before, really perplexing. So we'll get to the bottom of that. Let's start there. Before we start worrying about all the other horses that were a little mediocre, let's start with the freshest in my memory. Figure out what the hell just went on with Think of Galaxies. So, not a horrible night, I guess. I'm being a little unfair. I thought Greatest Ending race great. Very happy with the way he finished up and closed up. I thought that Renegade Gypsy, again, happy with the way he closed up. I thought he could have done more, but a little surprised that he ended up getting away about 10th. Not about getting away 10th. And Atlas Hanover did what he could. Kind of a tough trip for him and Lauren. And Alibaba, I just don't think's a good horse. That's my take after watching a race 4 or 5 times now. I just don't think she's a good horse. And obviously Think of Galaxies is. We got to figure out what happened there. So a little bit of an odd night. I'm glad it wasn't pouring rain when I out. The track was a bit tacky and muddy, but could have been a lot worse. I'm going to wash my fall colors up. I'm leaving. 5 hours, I'm going to be out the door, heading to Corbin to drive down there tomorrow. So, good luck to everybody, especially Arson that's racing tomorrow. We get a number of horses racing over the next little while. Excited to race Arson, excited to race Memory and Imagination. Really excited about the week ahead. We get Pickpocket, Swinging Senorita, Tactical Mounds, and still a few question marks. I think I went over them pretty good in this week's videos. I finished them all for you. They'll go out tomorrow. Could be a really interesting week ahead. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to gas up. I'm going to go back to the house. I'm going to get a quick sleep. And then off to Corbin, Kentucky tomorrow morning. Take care.